Hi guys, Amanda Chandler here. Haley challenged us yesterday to take a few minutes to share our history in the hairdressing industry. So I just wanted to share with you guys kind of what my journey has been and why I am in this industry. You know, truly to me it is the best industry in the whole world. I know right now you guys are in a very different situation given the global pandemic that we have found ourselves in, but you are all rock stars. You guys are all doing amazing. I'm in every single group, so I get to see all of the interaction between everybody. Your educators are hooking it up for you guys. And you guys are really keeping in mind that you can get through this. And, you know, hairdressers, barbers, estheticians, we are a very strong breed of people. And so just keep going. You guys are doing amazing. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that. You know, for me, I went to hair school back in 2007 and kind of leading up to that, I don't come from a family of hairdressers. I actually grew up a military brat because my dad is in the Air Force, recently retired, but he was in the Air Force as a child. And so I was able to move and see a lot of new places. And for me, fashion has always been a huge interest of mine. You know, from melting a Barbie doll's hair to all of my best friends in high school allowing me to practice on them and be really artistic. Thank you guys for that. But, you know, for me, it's just always been anything beauty, anything hairdressing has always taken the forefront in my life, and I love it. I think that we have some of the most fun out of any industry in the world. We get to meet new clients every single day, which is amazing, and we get to give back, you know, in a way that truly makes people feel better about themselves. And so remember that during this time, because I know right now we're not working on clients. We've been mandated in the salon division to be closed until April 30th, which is very unusual for us hairdressers. But you know, just kind of think about some of those things, you know, when you have a little bit more of this time for yourself to go, where do you want to personally grow? You know, what are some things that you may have wanted to get done, whether it has to do with your profession or personally? And then May 1st, we're going to hit it strong. But for me, I've always wanted to be a hairdresser. I found myself at the old Toni & Guy salon a few times my senior year of high school when it used to be in the Chapel Hills Mall. And I'd gotten some really kind of short pixie haircuts before my senior pictures. And, you know, I kind of looked around and the staff was dynamite looking. The music was always really loud and energetic. And for me, I've lived in Europe a lot when I was growing up. And so it kind of reminded me of some of that European culture, very high end. And so what I did was, after getting my hair cut, I went home to Google and see where there were Toni & Guy schools throughout the nation. I knew that it's what I wanted to do. I just didn't quite know where I wanted to go. And just from that relationship of you know, getting my hair done in this place that I was like, whoa, this environment is killer. I went and searched for Toni & Guy's, having no idea that there was one in Security area, which was about 40 minutes south from me, where I lived at the time was in Briargate. And I was wowed. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. In the meantime, I found myself pregnant with my first son, Holden. And so that delayed my plans for beauty school not very long, probably about a year and a half. I had him a month shy of 19, and I was enrolled to go to beauty school 2 months after I turned 20. You know, here in Colorado, we have the hairstylist program, and so for me, that was perfect. I was able to get in, learn my education, had an amazing time with all of my new friends, and learned so much from my educators. But then my son was only about a year and a half by the time I got out of school, and I was able to, you know, really dive forward in the industry. And so what I did was I went to the Ulta at the shops at Briargate, and you know, I was able to get a lot of ongoing education, which was awesome for me at the time. But I also found myself wanting to grow. And so at the time, the salon director was going to be taking a position in Denver. And so they had talked to me about any interest in working myself into an assistant salon manager role and then into the salon manager. And for me, I mean, I was out of school for maybe 6 months, and so it was really scary, but I've always found myself wanting to continue to elevate and learn as much as I possibly could in this field. So it was definitely the right path for me. I was thankful that they looked to me for that. And so I started transitioning into the assistant director role and then the salon director role, and I was there for about 3 years. The cool thing about, you know, corporate companies are we had ongoing education, we were able to learn a lot. I'm still friends with a lot of people I met there, and so it was just a really fun time in my life. But I did find myself kind of wanting to, you know, expand my family, and so once I was pregnant with my son Logan, my second son, I started looking at a few different options. And where I was led after I had him was to step back from the salon director role and look for a commission salon. And so I did that for about a year. It was a lot of fun. I was able to learn a lot of great makeup techniques because the person who I worked for was also a makeup artist, and I worked with a few other makeup artists there. And so it was a really fun time just to get to, expand my knowledge and learn something different. But then I found myself wanting a new path. And so about a year later, maybe about a year and a half, a gal who I had worked with and myself went out to look for a place to rent a booth. It was a really scary time. You have to get your own tax ID number. You feel all professional. You're doing something a little bit different. You're kind of stepping out. And so it was scary, but it was a lot of fun. At that time, both of my children were still pretty young. And so for me, it was the right time, the right place. And I really enjoyed that. And I did that for probably about 2.5, 3 years. Once both of my boys were starting to get to school age, I kind of found myself missing this team behind me, missing this camaraderie. When you walk into work with a team, you're able to really thrive off of each other and grow and continue to elevate yourself. And so for me, where I was at that time, I was looking to step away from the booth rental world and step back into a culture that I had missed, and that was the Toni and Guy culture. And so probably about 2013, I applied for a part-time educator role there. And I was accepted, and it was a really amazing time in my life because I was still doing some hair on the side, but then I was able to start to give back to these young aspiring professionals who wanted to learn about the beauty industry and just wanted to be the best of the best. And so I spent probably, about 7.5 years at the Toni and Guy Hairdressing Academy, and it was an amazing time. I know that I don't get the chance to really come in there as much in the last year, but I still know a lot of you students, and that's my plan, is to get in there and kind of be able to talk to you guys about what your interests are or the paths that you guys want to take here in the future. But I think an important thing for you to keep in mind is there's so many people who not only want your services, but want to be part of your life and want you to be part of theirs. There's that common quote that goes around that hairdressers are therapists as well. It's so true, because I think about before I entered the field, I loved any time that I spent at the beauty salon. I mean, it was like, okay, I left feeling refreshed. I gained new knowledge. I feel like I look great. And so just keep that in mind. Something that, I wanted to kind of briefly hit on is know that there are so many different paths you can take in this field. Don't ever stop. A little bit ago, Steve and I were talking on our live about accountability coaches. So keep that in mind as well, because sometimes the constructive criticism that we get from our family or our friends or our coworkers is not the easiest to take, but it is definitely necessary for us to step into the next role in our life. And so really, truly look for that. Have fun with what you guys are doing. This is an amazing field. I mean, I've been in this field since I entered school in 2007. I'm still in this field for a reason. It's because I continue to find different things that I can get into, and it just kind of keeps drawing me back in, which is amazing. But I just wanted to take the time just to kind of show you guys a little bit of my history. I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy out there. Reach out with any kind of questions you have, and have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.